I'm cut this particular clip out of President Obama's interview with Reverend Sharpton because, in my opinion, Obama's being hypocritical, okay, and also ignorant. He's going to talk about people voting and that people should vote and it's not that big of a deal. Well, I'm sorry, but some of the stuff that he's going to say is just not true. Here we go.
And it could not be starker. And if somebody is not voting right now, who is watching your program, you are voting for Donald Trump.
Okay. And the Republicans say the same thing. If there's a Republican out there that is not voting, then that person is voting for Hillary Clinton. So both sides are using the same argument to their basis as far as voting and not voting. I call that a wash.
And if that's the case, then you need to own that you think his ideas and his behavior are okay. I don't. And if you don't, then you got to get off your chair and you got to get out there and vote. And the notion that somehow voter suppression is keeping you from voting, as systematic as Republicans have tried to make voting more difficult for minorities, for Democrats, for young people, the truth of the matter is, if you actually want to vote, then you can vote. And it'll take you 15 minutes in most cases where you've got early vote. If there's no early vote, then yes, you might have to wait in line for 20 minutes. All right?
See, and now that's a goddamn lie, you know, and that's what kind of pisses me off. As far as voter suppression is concerned, he claims that it's not that big of a deal. Tell that to the people that they threw off of the voting rolls, that the NAACP and the ACLU had to go in there and file a lawsuit and get a temporary injunction in order to get those people reinstated. How easy was that? Can a normal citizen do that? Hell to the no. How about in Arizona where the Democratic Party lost because they had a situation out there where people were obtaining ballots to vote, and then a third party would go around, pick up the ballots and deliver them, and the Republicans created a law that made that illegal. The DNC tried to fight that law, and the courts upheld that law. Tell me how easy that is for people to vote, okay? Tell me about the people in Philadelphia who wanted to early vote, okay, and they reduced the number of voting places down to, I'm sorry, not in Philadelphia, in Cleveland, where they reduced the number of early voting places down to 1 for like over 250,000 people. You're talking about a 15-minute wait? No, that wait was hours. Tell me about the people in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the various counties surrounding Charlotte, where they reduced the number of early voting places, again, down to 1, okay, in certain districts. They got rid of a week of early voting. They basically got rid of souls to the polls, Sunday voting, okay? And then there were lawsuits filed in order to try to get those things reinstated. And by the time the lawsuits were settled to the affirmative, I might add, they had already lost that week of early voting. They had already lost that Sunday sold to the polls early voting, okay? They didn't even reinstate the various polling places for at least a couple of days into the, actually it was like a week into the early voting period. So don't hand me that bullshit. If you want to vote, it'll take you 5 minutes at the most. It might take you 20 to 30 minutes. People are standing in line, like the people in Nevada who stood in line to early vote to support Hillary Clinton's ass, more than likely. They were in line for hours, hours. And I cannot wait to see what's going to happen on Tuesday with all of the antics that the Republican Party is going to pull. I want to see, and we are going to see, the nation is going to see those long ass lines for people that want to vote. So, you know, you could talk that bullshit if you want about that it'll only take you 5 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes. But, you know, it's time that you told the goddamn truth and just stated that no matter how long it takes for you to get in there, you need to exercise your right to vote. You would have been better off just saying that.
An hour to vote. And the question would be, why would you disempower yourself? Why would you give them that victory if they're trying to keep you from voting by not voting? We disempower ourselves all the time. You can't tell me that all those folks who don't vote are doing so because somebody's turned them away or somebody's intimidated them. No, it's because they decided they had something better to do. And
that may or may not be true, but anytime you look at a voting line that's going to take you at least 3 hours, okay, to get in there, that in itself is a major disincentive. So for you to say that people decided that they had something better to do, yeah, that's quite possible, in the fact that they didn't want to spend 3 hours standing online and they could be doing something else within that 3 hours. Okay, it's just a question of whether you want to use that 3 hours in order to vote or not. And especially with young people, their attention spans are going to be a lot less than older and retired people because they are on the go, 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 and they really want to get things done. And it's just a question of the investment of that 3 hours or 4 hours. There have been some cases where people have had to wait in line 6, 7, 8 hours in order to vote. So for you to just brush off people and claim that people felt like they had something better to do than to vote, no, I'm not riding with you on that. I'm not riding with you on that train.
my suggestion would be in this election at this moment, there's nothing better to do than vote. And if you need to know how to vote, just go to iwillvote.com. It'll tell you exactly how to vote, where to vote. And, you know, I am so proud of the work we've done, but I've said before, it's never the work of just one person or one president or one term. The work we engage in to make this country better is an ongoing process, and it depends on active citizens getting educated about issues and going out there and participating. Now is that moment where people have to be heard.
Yeah, it would have been nice if you had done a bit more for the black community itself instead of doing, and there's nothing wrong with you doing stuff that helps out everybody, but we were looking for a little bit more action for you on our behalf. And I'm going to leave that there.